Welcome to the episode 7 of my devlog series on making a factory game. The past few months I've spent thinking and experimenting with the character and the controls. And as you can see, I've also been playing around with the environment visuals. Whether or not the players were going to embody a character was not a given. The alternative would be going for a SimCity-like camera. But because my game is co-op, and that interaction with other players is at the core of this design pillar, I thought characters was the best way to handle that. And after putting together a prototype character, it was absolutely obvious that this was the right way forward. My character will be an engineer. Ultimately, they'll be placing down solar panels, nuclear reactors, and turbines. So they'll be geared up for on-site engineering, with a hard hat and a tool belt. And a backpack, but that's mostly to justify the inventory. Another big decision was whether I wanted to allow each player to customize their character or select one from a pool to distinguish each other in a co-op session. Making a single character will already take me ages, so I decided that for now, only the accent color on the engineer's outfit will vary from player to player. I think this will do the trick for the first playable. For the character control script, I decided to use this asset from the Unity asset store. I have written character controllers in the past, and they're just not what I enjoy doing again and again. I think the amount of customization that this plugin offers is more than enough for my game, and it probably saved me a month of work, so I'm happy with that choice. I just slapped some animation onto a prototype character model, and in no time I had a character controller that feels good. If you remember, in the episode 4 of my series, I talked about server authoritative versus client authoritative networking, and I mentioned I would go for a mix of both. For the inventories, I went for server authoritative, but for the characters, I found it much simpler to go for client authoritative, which means each client enforces their own position onto everyone else's copy of the world. I think the position, rotation, and the state of the animation. Also, now the cables from the last episode are fully replicated across the network. I have to say, it's starting to feel like a game. Now, onto some visual work. I put together this little scenery to experiment with assets and art styles. I think I like the level of detail of the grass, flowers, and crystals, but now the trees look too low poly, so I'll be remaking them soon. In order to have the characters stand out from the environment, I used an inverted hole shader to have a thin black outline to them. I think this really makes them stand out, and I'm so happy with the feel of it. As for the collisions, I added a mesh collider to each tile. Mesh colliders are expensive, especially as the water tiles are concave, so can't be made convex, which would have been slightly better. It doesn't seem to affect performance quite yet, so I'll leave it for future me to solve if it ever becomes a problem. But if you can think of a clever solution, I would love to hear it. This is still not final, but at least much closer to what I'm going to be aiming for in the future for the art style of my game. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you'd like to give me feedback or ideas, you are very welcome to join the Discord server. Link is in the description. Hoping to see you again in the next episode.